Pollution. I've been asked about pollution, climate change, and how to fix it. It's a hot topic in the contemporary world. For me, it starts with vehicles. Today, there are more vehicles in service than ever before. I wouldn't say we should get back on our horses and return to the wagon. But it's true that back then, pollution wasn't like it is today. I traveled from Europe to America, and the first thing I noticed when I arrived in America was that the air was unbreathable. It was as if there was no wind or I couldn't feel the fresh air. Today, it's even worse. I breathe mainly carbon. Respiratory carbon, and that's what often causes respiratory problems, the flu, sore throats, and mucus problems. Well, lately, it's also due to the fact that I smoke. Let's get back to the point. How to deal with pollution step by step. First, we must remove vehicles. Cars shouldn't be a hobby or a pleasure. But the right to drive should be a job. I know that many truck drivers like to drive. That's why they chose this vocation. I'm for the profession of driver, whether it's for transport trucks, buses, trains, trams, subways, and whatever else you want. But I'm against owning a personal vehicle. Today, there are too many vehicles on the streets. To the point that parking in a parking lot is becoming complicated. You have to fight to find a parking space. Each family has an average of 2 cars per person, one for the mother and one for the father. And sometimes a third, which is for the family. We live in a continent of luxury in rich countries. And as Henry Ford, the father of Fordism, desired, and I quote him, every worker at Ford must earn enough and sufficient to be able to afford a Ford car. Well, I'm quoting Ford to describe his idea. It's like saying that every McDonald's worker must and can earn enough money to pay for their McMeal. It's a drastic solution. But it's the solution to immediately resolve the disruption. Is it feasible? No. Because car manufacturers would go bankrupt. But they can reorient themselves to public transportation. Today, public transportation is often regional and municipal. But if companies get involved, there could be competition in public transportation. There is already competition in taxis and Uber services. Different companies exist. It would be great to have transportation companies of different brands, like for buses, for example. Imagine buses every minute. In every corner. And others that specialize at night. In short. For me, the solution comes from stopping the production of individual vehicles and prohibiting driving a vehicle for personal reasons other than your work vehicle. So you wouldn't drive your vehicle to run errands or for a walk. Neither to get around or visit family. The money you put into purchasing your vehicle will now be spent on public transportation. This way, we'll continue to be productive but more environmentally efficient. As our capitalist society dictates. People love driving. For some, it's a passion, a sport. For others, it's speed, elegance, and beauty. They admire their cars. But the world of tomorrow is about the collective, not individualism. The other blatant form of pollution is waste. But I don't really want to talk about it because that's not what's disrupting the climate in the first place. The climate is mainly disrupted by toxic gases. Waste on the ground slows down recycling. We need nuclear power plants to a certain extent. But personal cars are the ones I advocate first. It's up to us to get rid of them. Imagine 7 billion people on Earth with 7 or 14 billion personal vehicles in operation. Stopping them would be a great gain. A great profit. And an environment without cars parked everywhere on the roads would free up space, accommodate pedestrians, and the city would be cleaner. Today it is often said that the deforestation of the Amazon, which is the world's first lung, and that the lack of trees and greenery reduce air quality. Because as we know, it is water and plants that are our primary suppliers of oxygen. Humans breathe oxygen and release carbon. Trees breathe carbon and release oxygen. Air quality is therefore dependent on sufficient oxygen support. Similarly, the air is better at the water's edge because it is fresher and therefore more present. But the water in our rivers is not always healthy, clean, and environmentally friendly due to the release of toxins often from electricity manufacturing companies, not to mention the waste that we ourselves throw away. Rain makes good weather, as we say in French, but above all, rain is a grace from heaven that helps clean the air, throwing away toxins and unpleasantness, and amenities on the ground and renewing the air. I'm talking about muddy soil as well as grassy soil. Not metallic or asphalt soil, as we have almost everywhere. On the other hand, it's the sun that spoils the work of the rain by heating the wet, asphalted soil, and consequently it brings up the bad air, dust, and gases that could not be absorbed by the soil. Note that it's mainly the grass that cleans the bad toxins from the air that the rain brings down. Grass needs light to dry and absorb. This is called photosynthesis. Grass wet from the rain absorbs and dries the toxins. The toxins not absorbed by the grass, that is to say the excess, materialize into tar or form into dirt. And it stays attached to the grass until the new supply of rain and water. In the end, where it rains the most is at sea. And where the air is the best is at sea. And what does the sea reject? All the pollution on Earth.